Ian.
Welcome to the Silent Pool Distillery.
Thank you very much.
6 miles east of Guildford.
Indeed, we are. It's lovely to be back and right by where it all started.
Where it all started. So this is the original still. We bought this in 2014, beginning of 2014.
Yeah.
When we sort of started talking to you guys.
Yeah.
So
before it all started, I think.
yeah. So we went on a speed date to southern Germany, 4 suppliers, decided which one we wanted,
Yeah.
and worked with them. And it sort of was the start of the project, really. In fact, I think you were probably the second person I'd spoken to on the project.
Okay.
And one of the things we say to people who ask, what on earth do you know about a distillery, which, given my background's media, is not much. It's not what you know, it's knowing where to find the answer.
Absolutely.
So we search for everything locally, whether it's electricians, sparks, people who lay concrete, people who do anything. And I typed into Google Surrey bottle suppliers. Up popped Croxsons, thought, oh, Morden, that's good. So I think I sent you an email or rang and said, can I come in to talk about a project? And I think it was before you'd had a flood of people asking the same question. So you kindly said, yep, okay.
Let's have a chat.
And that was Bottling 101.
I think it's quite unusual for us to get clients thinking about packaging so early on. Often brands come to us quite late in the day to go, this is what we need. And often that challenges with timeframes and all of that. And actually, you guys were quite central at putting the bottle as a key part of the brand. I think that's what everyone knows Silent Pool for.
Yeah, we were lucky. I mean, we're not. The project didn't start as a distillery. It started as, what do we need to make? Who are we talking to? And therefore, what do we need to build?
Yeah.
So building this was a function of, what do we think the opportunity is?
Yeah.
We should have probably got you involved earlier in that process, because I don't know if you remember, we missed Christmas 2014 because the designers had designed something you can't actually make. So that was
not the first time.
No, and that is a lesson learned. So we now get the production people in earlier.
Yeah. But you talked about local. A lot of your the ingredients you use, the botanicals you use, are locally sourced.
Yeah, they're sort of slightly wider out around the UK. A lot of it's overseas, obviously. The whole marketing shtick about we get up at dawn and forage for botanicals before
saying that's not true
before the mist rises is doable until somebody says, I need 15 pallets and I need it next week.
Yeah.
And then, you've got to go from a hobby to sort of industrialising the process, which we've sort of managed to do. I'm not saying that's a hobby setup, but yeah, we will always search local out. On the short run liquids, we buy local fruit in. If the fruit runs out, we don't start bringing it in from overseas. They're short runs, and we say to people, that's English fruit.
Yeah.
Buy it when you see it, because when it's gone until next year.
Yeah. Obviously, people know Silent Pool for that core kind of teal, greeny, blue bottle with the copper print. Silent Pool has quite a lot of variants that you've kind of launched over the years. How did that develop?
I'd like to say there was a huge amount of thought and planning that went into it. It's often driven by the distillers. So one of the things that we didn't want to set up was a sense of a factory.
Yeah.
That the guys just turn up, flick the switch, make 1,000 units, turn it off at 4:30, go home.
Yeah.
They will experiment. This is a creative business. So they will make stuff. We do a lot of contract distilling. We help other people with spirits. And that's what they create. So if they invent something, that's what they try and get out. People are surprised at how quickly we can go from an idea to actually a bottle.
I think we've observed, and hopefully it's a bit of a kindred spirit in that agility for you to be able to turn around something quickly, whether it's on the contract work or obviously on your own brands as well. And I think that makes it more interesting, probably more fun way of doing business, because you're not just responding to a forecast and a sheet full of numbers. There's actually people and a bit of heart and creativity in the process to also be challenged, which is part and parcel of a supply chain, isn't it? So
Yeah, I mean, hopefully there's no Royal limited runs coming. So,
hopefully not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we've got a
absolutely.
while before that happens. But there'll be other product ones. We've had a GTR exclusive with English Garden Expression. Gatwick have gone, they've gone crazy with it, and are really, really pleased. So that as a model sort of works.
Yeah.
And the ability to roll that out.
So obviously we're standing by Ophelia, where it kind of all started, powered by, I think it's the Major, isn't it, as kind of affectionately known.
Yeah, so the Major has a bit of a story behind it. When we set up here on this farm site, there's no three-phase electricity, we discovered. So thought, right, we should probably use wood. Surrey's the most wooded county in England. Started looking at wood-fired steam boilers, and modern ones that look like a sort of garbage compactor running on chips were a lot of money. They were about £120,000 ago. And at that time, I didn't know whether we'd be turning it on once a week, once a month, once every 3 months. So I ended up in the world of heritage steam. So there's lots of local steam railways. There's one in Alton, there's others around the southeast of England. And ended up in a yard in Canterbury talking to a guy who dealt in old boilers. So I told him what the steam requirement for that was. He said, right, this is what you need. So it looks like a sort of atom bomb with rivets on it. Did a deal to buy it. And it cost less than a tenth of what we'd have spent on a modern one.
That's amazing.
You want lights on, lights off?
No, lights off.
No, lights off. Okay. So Tim, this is a Barford Invicta Major.
Amazing.
The Major. Reclaimed. It was on Liverpool docks. We had all of the manifolding commissioned.
Yeah.
It runs on wood, so you've got seasoned hardwood from a quarter of a mile away. We buy this from the estate, so our landlord.
Yep.
Small shovel of Welsh steam coal to get it sort of pepped up, but once it's up and running, get the pressure up around 60 to 70 psi. You've got water from the Silent Pool that makes the steam. That's it.
Amazing.
That introduces steam into the steam jacket for the still. The still starts working. So the key is to keep it at the right pressure by putting logs in. Now, if you consider a log as a block of calories, that a tree's locked up sunshine, its calories, its energy, so long as you're putting in the bottom here the same number of calories that the still's drawing off, the whole thing will run in balance. If you put too many in, that will lift, you're wasting money. If you put too few in, you drop the run.
Obviously, I remember when I think I first came to site when you were operating, Barn A, where we're now standing, had everything in it. You had your filling and your capping and storage and all of that. Obviously, Silent Pool, has it expanded a lot since then? And you've got a new still that I think is 5 times the size. Is that right? Obviously, you said you've invested heavily in the bottling side as well. Is there, I guess, how much more can Silent Pool grow with where you are in a beautiful spot?
We've got a lot of headroom on the infrastructure now. There's a footprint to put another still in if we needed to next door. But from all the growth plans we've got, the site can handle it.
Yeah.
Logistically, it's not the best site. So we are constrained on full-size Arctics because of a telegraph pole on a corner. But we can get round it. There's a base that we use not far from here to take big trucks in, and then they're converted into small trucks.
Yeah.
We didn't want to be a factory, so we'd have been more efficient if we were on a trading estate in Guildford. But that's not what we wanted. That's not what people wanted to see. So when they come here, they see bottles, stoppers, liquid, steam, hoses, stills, heat, smoke.
Yeah.
And we say to people, this is it.
Mm.
There's a level of honesty and transparency. There's nothing weird. There's no chemicals.
Yeah.
Everything you walk around in probably less than a minute is it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got site capacity.
That's great.
Yeah.
So this is the Silent Pool. Obviously not just kind of incorporated in the brand and your name, but it plays quite an important part as part of your gin making process.
Yes, I mean, this is a famous pool. It's been here since the last ice age. These banks went in the 1600s. It's been used by druids. It's been used by all sorts of people. It has a myth. It produces about, the springs which are slightly further down the pool produce about 100,000 litres a day. Takes about 3 weeks for a raindrop to hit the top of the downs to pop out here. It's hard water, not as hard as London water, but it is hard water. It runs from here. It's the only spring-fed pool in the Tillingbourne Valley, so it goes from here to the Tillingbourne. The Tillingbourne goes into the Way navigation. The Way navigation goes into the Thames, which goes into the North Sea. That's the sort of circle of water. This was the inspiration for the bottle design. The water comes up slightly teal coloured because it comes up through a phosphate layer about 200 metres down. We spoke earlier of knowing where to find the answer rather than knowing the answer. I tripped over a British Geological Survey 400-page report on aquifers because I just googled aquifer London. This is part of a body of water that goes down quite a long way, goes out over the south of England, goes out under the Channel, and ends up in northern France. The water at the very bottom of what we're standing on is about 2 million years old.
Wow.
And it's the top bit that rotates. It's been great because it's an anchor to the brand.
Yep. People
can Google it and you actually end up with something rather than a sort of an abstract name. And we use the water in production. It doesn't really alter the flavour, but it's nice to know that it's sort of a part of it. Yeah, it's a local beauty spot. So yeah, the fact that it's a physical ground zero for the brand makes a big difference. It helps that it's a moody name and it sounds enigmatic and interesting and still waters run deep and that sort of stuff.
I think it also feeds back into that authenticity.
Yeah.
That you're not just a distillery and industrial estate that's made up a name and made up a story, that is actually, you know, it goes back centuries and centuries, that just feeds into how the overall brand looks, but also matches your, I guess, your culture and your values and what the brand stands for.
Yeah, and it's part, you know, we end up as sort of citizens and we try and take care of it, so we work with the estate to take care of it. We're much more conscious now of sustainability and our impact on the planet, so to look after places like this, we make sure we do what we can. So we run PV panels on the roofs. All of our solid waste and liquid waste goes off to an anaerobic digester to make electricity. All of our cardboard goes off to be recycled. Our plastic goes off to be recycled. We stripped plastic out of mail order, so that's all now sort of expanded paper. Because these sort of places won't exist unless we make a bit of an effort. And we say to people that we're not zealots on it. We're sort of practical. We do what we can practically within the context of the business. And people appreciate it. Visitors appreciate the fact that we do it. And that, you know, it would be cheaper to just throw everything away, but we don't. We try and conserve and have as low a footprint as we can.
Obviously, Silent Pool is kind of part of your bedrock is local relationships with local suppliers and looking after everything that's local. Those relationships are really important to you as a brand.
They are, but we're not slaves to the fact that it's local. So we start with local. If a supplier or somebody who wants to work with us is local, but they're not very good, then we don't work with them. But we start with local. So Croxsons has been there since the very beginning. We've gone from a tiny, almost hobby outfit to supplying 48 countries around the world in GTR. In fact, I found out yesterday that some farmers markets won't deal with us now because we're in travel retail. We're not small enough, which is a sort of compliment in a way. But we've changed a lot and our demands have changed. We have become more disciplined. And what Croxsons has managed to do is be our outsourced bottle knowledge or packaging knowledge. The business will change at a faster rate. So ultra premium gin is growing, the middle market's not growing. We've got markets to expand into. We're investing more money in sales. But we need to innovate. We need to cut through. We don't have the budgets of the big guys, and Croxsons have enabled us to have insight into what's going on. And that's the way we view it. So our view is we've outsourced that end of our procurement, but it's more than just procurement. It's solutions based. As ever, cost is an issue, but we can work together on ways of reconfiguring what we do to help that. So yeah, it works well. The team there have got incredible patience, because I think I said earlier, we're not that structured. We're a bit better than we were. But that's the part of being able to respond. You need to be able to turn it on a sixpence. Otherwise, you look like the big guys. And we're not the big guys. We're the challenger, and we are nipping away underneath them with sort of sharp elbows out. So yeah, hopefully Croxsons will be there for the journey.